Sarah steps out of the office elevator at 8 p.m., her shoulders slumped under the weight of another unpaid overtime shift. The fluorescent lights buzz like a swarm of doubts in her head. Did she forget to reply to her best friend's crisis text? Her mom's voice echoes from this morning's call. You're the only one who can help with the family dinner plans. And then there's Alex, her boyfriend, who's been hinting at needing more support through his latest work drama. At 28, she's the go-to fixer, the colleague who covers shifts, the friend who listens endlessly, the daughter who never says no. Her own dreams, a quiet yoga class, that half-read book on her nightstand, gather dust like forgotten promises. But tonight, as rain patters against the lobby window, something shifts. She pulls out her phone, scrolls through the endless notifications, and for the first time in months, her thumb hovers over decline on a group invite. Not because she's angry, but because she's tired, deeply, bone-tired of pouring from an empty cup. Her vision blurs for a second, not from the screen, but from the sting of tears she didn't know she was holding back. The kind that come quietly when you realize the person you've been neglecting is you. She presses decline. The sound is barely a click, but inside it's thunder. Take a breath here. Think about the last time you said yes when every part of you wanted to rest. When was that moment for you? What if this simple pause isn't the end of her world, but the beginning of reclaiming it? What ripples would spread if she finally whispered to herself, "You matter too"? In the stories we tell ourselves, we often cast others as the villains in our exhaustion. But here's the twist. The real thief of your peace might be the quiet habit of always coming last. The core idea. That moment in the lobby. It's the spark of what psychologists call self-prioritization. A shift backed by research from the American Psychological Association, showing that women who regularly put their needs first report 30% lower stress levels and higher life satisfaction. Not because it's selfish, but because it's sustainable. When you finally put yourself first, it's like turning on a light in a room you've been navigating in the dark. Suddenly, you see the paths that lead to joy, not just survival. In the chapters ahead, we'll walk through Sarah's unfolding story, not as a perfect heroine, but as a mirror for your own quiet battles. You'll discover how this one choice rewires your relationships, quiets the inner critic, and unlocks a version of you that's unapologetically alive. And by the end, you'll have the gentle nudge to try it yourself. Because here's the big idea. Putting yourself first isn't about pushing others away. It's about pulling your truest self closer. Why watch till the end? Because the transformation waiting on the other side might just be the permission you've been giving everyone else. Chapter 1, The Invisible Load. You know that feeling, don't you? The one where your to-do list isn't just tasks, it's everyone else's expectations stacked like bricks on your chest. For Sarah, it started small, covering a coworker's lunch break here, baking cookies for her roommate's birthday there. Before long, her calendar was a battlefield of favors, leaving no room for the quiet walk in the park she craved after a stressful week. Studies from Harvard's Grant Study, one of the longest on adult development, reveal that chronic self-neglect correlates with higher rates of anxiety and resentment in relationships. It's like carrying a backpack full of stones uphill, wondering why you're always out of breath. One night, as she sat in her car outside the grocery store, she couldn't bring herself to step out. Hands gripping the steering wheel, breath shallow, she realized she had nothing left to give. That's when it hit her. The world didn't ask her to do it all. She volunteered her piece by piece. But imagine if you paused right there in the middle of the chaos and asked, what if this load isn't mine to carry alone? Sarah did one rainy Tuesday, staring at her reflection in the coffee shop window. She saw not a failure, but a woman stretched thin, her edges frayed from giving too much. That recognition, it's the first crack in the armor of always yes. And through it, light begins to seep in, not blinding, but warm like dawn after a long night. What invisible load are you carrying today that feels heavier than it should? Chapter 2, The Power of the Gentle No. Saying no isn't a thunderclap, it's more like a soft exhale, releasing what no longer serves you. Sarah's first one came awkwardly over a text to her sister. "I can't make the weekend brunch. I need this time for me." The guilt twisted like a knot in her stomach, but so did the space it created. A whole Saturday morning with nothing but her favorite herbal tea and a journal. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology suggests that practicing boundary setting reduces emotional exhaustion by up to 25%, turning no from a wall into a window. It's in these small refusals that you start to hear your own voice again, muffled for so long under layers of obligation. Sarah sat on her balcony that morning, the city hummed below her like a distant lullaby, and realized every yes to others had been a quiet no to herself. What would change if your next no wasn't a rejection, but a reclamation? Picture the freedom in that, your energy flowing back to where it's needed most. You. Chapter 3, Echoes of the Inner Critic. As the nos accumulate, so does the chatter in your mind, that voice whispering, "Who do you think you are, putting yourself first?" Sarah heard it loudest during her first solo evening out, at a cozy bookstore cafe, flipping through pages without glancing at her phone. It accused her of selfishness, of unraveling the threads that held her world together. Yet, a study in cognitive therapy and research points out that self-compassion practices, like acknowledging that voice without judgment, can quiet self-doubt by fostering neural pathways of kindness. It's like teaching your brain to swap thorns for petals. In that cafe glow, Sarah jotted down the critic's barbs, then countered each with a truth. "I'm not selfish, I'm surviving." The echoes softened, not silenced overnight, but gentled into something resembling understanding. You felt this too, haven't you? That tug-of-war between guilt and growth. What if you treated your inner critic not as an enemy, but as a weary friend in need of rest? Hey, if this is resonating, hit that like button if you've ever battled your own inner voice. Share it with a friend who's in the trenches. Tap subscribe for more stories like this and stick around, there's more freedom ahead. Chapter 4, Ripples in Relationships. Putting yourself first doesn't shatter bonds, it reshapes them like stones smoothed by a gentle river. Sarah noticed it with Alex first. Instead of jumping to fix his moods, she shared her own boundaries over dinner one night. "I love supporting you," she said softly, "but tonight I need to recharge alone." His surprise melted into respect, and for the first time, their conversation flowed from equals, not rescuer and rescued. A report from the Gottman Institute, renowned for relationship research, indicates that couples who honor individual needs experience 40% more satisfaction. It's the difference between a tangled knot and a loose, breathing weave. These ripples spread. Her sister called not for a favor, but to listen. Friends started asking about her day, not just venting theirs. Sarah lay in bed one night, heart lighter, wondering how many connections have I dimmed by always dimming myself. Yours might be ready for this too, stronger, truer. What relationship in your life could bloom if you showed up as your full self? Chapter 5, The Rediscovery of Joy. With space carved out, joy sneaks back in like sunlight through cracks in a wall. Sarah's came unexpectedly, a midweek impulse to drive to the coast, windows down, playlist of old favorites blasting. No agenda, no apologies, just her and the waves crashing in rhythm with her breath. It wasn't grand. It was essential, reminding her that delight isn't a luxury but a birthright. Neuroscientific insights from Dr. Barbara Fredrickson's Broaden and Build theory explain how positive emotions like this expand our awareness, building resilience against stress, like adding colors to a once-gray canvas. She returned home buzzing, not from exhaustion, but from aliveness. The world felt bigger, her place in it softer. You've lost touch with this joy too, perhaps, buried under shoulds and musts. What small spark of delight have you sidelined that could light up your days again? Got thoughts on rediscovering yours? I'd love to hear them in the comments. Your story might just inspire someone else's wave. Chapter 6. Boundaries as Bridges. True boundaries aren't fences, they're bridges to deeper trust. Sarah learned this when she shared her new rhythm with her team at work. I'll wrap up by 6 most days to protect my evenings. Instead of backlash, her manager nodded, sharing a story of her own burnout years back. It opened doors, not walls. Colleagues stepped up, and Sarah's contributions sharpened because she arrived rested. According to boundary expert Nedra Glover-Tawwab, in her work echoed across therapeutic circles, clear limits foster mutual respect, reducing relational friction by creating space for authenticity. It's a quiet magic. By honoring your edges, you invite others to honor theirs. Sarah's evenings became sacred, yoga flows, candlelit baths, fueling a creativity she'd forgotten. What bridge could a single boundary build in your world, connecting you more fully to those around you? Chapter 7. The Glow from Within. When you prioritize yourself, the glow isn't skin deep. It's a radiant shift from the inside out. Sarah felt it in the mirror one crisp autumn morning, eyes brighter, posture taller, not from new makeup, but from nights reclaimed for rest. Her freelance sketches, once sidelined, now filled a notebook, drawing compliments from unexpected corners. This emotional glow-up, as therapists term it, aligns with findings from positive psychology pioneer Martin Seligman. Self-investment builds flow states, where productivity and peace coexist, turning daily life into a canvas of possibility. No more chasing validation from outside. The warmth comes from knowing you're enough. Sarah's laugh returned, fuller, freer, and you, that inner light waiting to flicker, what one step today could fan it into flame? Chapter 8. Sustaining the Shift. This isn't a one-time flip, it's a rhythm you learn, like breathing deeper with practice. Sarah wove it in, weekly check-ins with a journal prompt, what did I give to myself today? And gentle reminders on her phone for unplugging. Challenges arose, a family gathering where old patterns tugged, but she navigated with compassion, not perfection. Longitudinal data from the Blue Zones Project shows that those who sustain self-care habits live not just longer, but with more purpose, their days laced with quiet fulfillment. Weeks later, sitting on her balcony, rain soft against the glass, Sarah smiles through quiet tears. Not the kind born of exhaustion, but relief. She finally understands. Putting herself first didn't make her harder to love, it made her love more honestly. Sarah's life now hums with balance, a testament that starting small sustains the whole. What rhythm could you start weaving today, one breath at a time? Now, let's make this real for you, because stories inspire, but action transforms. Start small in a way that fits your American rhythm. Tomorrow morning, over your coffee ritual, whether it's a drive-through latte or a home-brewed pour-over, pull out your phone notes and list 3 things you've said yes to lately that drained you. For each, craft a gentle no. I appreciate the invite, but I'm protecting my recharge time this week. Practice saying it out loud in the mirror, like Sarah did. Feel the exhale, the space it creates. Then pick one self-gift. A 20-minute walk without your earbuds, just you and the neighborhood rhythm, or curling up with that book you've been eyeing. Do it guilt-free and at day's end reflect. How did honoring myself feel? This isn't about overhauling overnight. It's about one day of courage, stacking into a life where you come first. You've got this. Your cup is ready to refill. As Sarah sips tea on her balcony now, the city lights twinkling like stars she's finally reaching for, she knows this. Putting yourself first isn't the end of giving, it's the source of giving from fullness. Picture yourself a year from now, shoulders lighter, laughter easier, relationships deeper because they are rooted in your unapologetic wholeness. That woman isn't a distant dream. She's the one emerging as you choose her day by quiet day. You've journeyed far today, through the loads, the nos, the glows. Carry this whisper. You come first now, and in that truth, everything aligns. What will you reclaim tomorrow? Think about the peace she'll bring, the life she'll unfold. That version of you? She's already here, waiting for your yes. Thank you for sharing this space. Until next time, be gentle with your beautiful self.